they will punish you, and we used to call it putti, and the punishments were quite severe. Sometimes in the Harmattan season, they could call you out in the garden and be soaking you with this water hose. You know, sometimes in the parade ground, you'll be asked to sit on your head and with your knees up and your 2 hands behind your back, and you could sit in that position for about 30 minutes. Oh, good day, ladies and gentlemen. We're back on set again, and I was talking about my story in the Nigerian Defence Academy of the 1979 26th Regular Combatant Course. I was in Mogadishu Company. Then we used to have Mogadishu, Abyssinia, Dalet, and Burma Company. We used to call ourselves the elite company, Mogadishu. And then our commandant then was Brigadier General Joe Garba, young, dashing military officer of great repute. And there was a time, as we were rounding up our first year, we had what we call novices boxing. And the opponent is chosen according to your scale. And it happened that my opponent happened to be one of my very close friends, Emeka Wilson Okoye. And the two of us were known to be quite naughty then, because we used to, sometimes during the weekends, we would sneak out and go into town and go to Doba Hotel and be drinking and swimming, and then go to some of the institutions to, carouse with the women and sneak back into the academy at night. And so on the day of the novices boxing, I had arranged with him that we would take it easy with one another. And so the fight went on. And before I knew it, this guy gave me this serious punch that almost knocked me out. So I got pissed and I threw everything away and went after him. By God's grace, I won that fight. So there was while one was at the NDA that I began to notice the hand of God in my life, because I had an experience in one of the obstacle crossings where I almost fell and I could have been injured pretty bad. And that makes me to recall some of the things that happened when I was in high school in Enugu, and a particular incident, because of a friend of mine, Chiokoye by name. We were in Form 3 then, and we had just left with he had one of his parents' cars, Opel Capitan to be precise, and we were going from school to hang out. Along the way, with a class 5 people asked us to drop him off at the library. So on our way to the library, along Zik Avenue and Enugu, one chap was just crossing the road from nowhere and the car hit him. He hit him so hard that he went about 15 meters, and then the car came and climbed over him, and the back tire pulled him for some time before he went over. And my friend Chiokoye, who was driving, he got confused, and there was a bridge in front of us, and he was almost going to go beside the bridge to where we could dive into the water with the vehicle. So I struggled with the steering with him, and then the 2 tires was now on the pedestrian walkway on the bridge while the 2 were. And then by then there were 2 cars that were following us. This was by P&T quarters in Enugu. Then after a couple minutes, he got himself together, and we are trying to, escape from the vehicles that were chasing after us. And he came to the roundabout, and the Opel Capitan, being so grounded, with the speed he navigated that roundabout, the other cars continued on their way. So we dropped off the class 5 student along the way. I went to the Presidential Hotel in Enugu. We pulled the car, went inside, and got in the swimming pool. We were swimming. And after a while, some police officers came and they were looking around, and we go under the water. Try to stay as much as we could. Bring your head up for a few seconds and go back in. Eventually, they walked away, and we came out and separated our ways. I went home, he went home. Eventually, he had an uncle who was a major in the military then, who helped to sort out the matter and settle the family of the boy that was killed. I remember that some detectives came to my house, and when I realized who they were, I was fortunate to be the one to open the door for them. So we stood at the veranda, and they told me what to write as a statement. Eventually, the school authorities didn't know what happened, but most of the students knew. And by God's grace, the matter died like that. And why am I sharing this? Because not long after that, I was involved in several car accidents where the car would somersault severally and I would come out unscathed. And so I began to realize that I used to think that I was lucky. But while I was at the academy, I began to note that the hand of God was upon my life. And it made me to be somewhat careful. But it didn't deter me from living and continuing in the way that I was living. And so in the next episode, I will begin to share with us even more on the other happenings in my life that made me feel so. And thank you, and God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was a recollection at NDA, how God saved him from what could have been a career destroyer when a vehicle in which he was hiding knocked a boy down and he ran away. So the invisible hand of God. That thing, if he had come out, if they had arrested him, the consequences were unpredictable. How could that could have affected his future? But that was taken care of. Again, parents, you are allowing 14-year-olds to carry your car and drive. Parents, are your own heads correct? To allow a 14-year-old to carry your car and drive? Please. It's not love when you allow these children to do things that can destroy their lives. Please, control your children. Keep them out of danger. Don't allow them easy access to your keys and things like that. Please, do not forget to subscribe to this our channel. And send these videos to your friends and let them learn what God is doing in the lives of people in our days. Thank you for tuning in today. Goodbye.